Have you ever had that feeling? You know the one. That feeling of being completely and utterly lost on a journey that you started with so much fire in your belly? It's like you've hit a wall, and that drive you once had, well, it seems to have just vanished. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you're in exactly the right place. Let's talk about finding your way back. I mean, just read that. This raw, honest moment from Colette Natov, the founder of Lightning AI, it just captures a feeling so many leaders know but hardly ever talk about. It's that overwhelming weight of it all, isn't it? The gap between the dream in your head and the reality of your day, just stopping you dead in your tracks. And it's so important to get this straight right from the start. This is not some kind of personal failure. It's actually a predictable and, yes, painful stage of the whole entrepreneurial journey. You are absolutely not alone in feeling this way. And look at the numbers. They're just staggering. A study of entrepreneurs found that 72% reported mental health concerns. So you see, this isn't just about feeling a bit tired or over it. It's a genuine crisis affecting the very people who are out there trying to build the future. So the big question is, how do you find a way out of this fog? Well, that's exactly what we're going to look at. What you're about to see is an overview of a really powerful module put together by the business leaders coach, Toya Oceanbia. Now, it comes with a detailed self-guide, and the entire goal of this session is to help you take just one, positive action that can start moving you in the direction you want to go. Right then, before we can find a path forward, we first need to figure out exactly where we are. So let's start by diagnosing this demotivation, by stepping into what the guide calls the founder's fog. And more often than not, that fog has a name: burnout. And listen, this isn't just some trendy buzzword. The World Health Organization actually defines it as a clinical phenomenon. And this is fascinating. It has real physiological effects. It can alter the very structure of your brain, making it physically harder to manage stress. Now, here is a distinction that is absolutely critical, and one that so many of us get wrong. We often confuse burnout with just being really, really stressed. But think of it like this. Stress is a state of too much pressure, too much urgency. Burnout, on the other hand, is a state of too little energy, too little hope. And why does this matter so much? Because applying the solution for stress to burnout is like pouring petrol on a fire. Let's really break this down. When you're stressed, that voice in your head is screaming, "I have to get this under control," right? But when you're in a state of burnout, that voice just whispers, "I don't care anymore." And that shift from frantic overengagement to just apathy, that's the danger zone. If you treat burnout like stress, you'll try to just push through it, when what your mind and body are desperately crying out for is to stop, to recover, and to reconnect. Okay, so how do we actually begin that recovery? How do we find our way out of the fog? The guide offers a brilliant metaphor to help us navigate: the founder's compass. It's simple, really. The compass has 4 main directions, and each one represents a core lesson. We're going to look north to reconnect with your purpose, then east to forge the right mindset, south to build true resilience, and finally west to install some sustainable systems. Let's start by heading north. This is all about getting back in touch with your why. You've probably heard Simon Sinek's famous line, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." Your purpose is the real fuel for this journey. When the daily grind feels impossible, your why is the anchor that's going to hold you steady. Okay, next we head east to mindset. The psychologist Carol Dweck's work on this is just groundbreaking. She shows us there are 2 basic beliefs about ourselves. A fixed mindset tells you, "I am what I am, and that's that." But a growth mindset says, "You know what? I can learn, I can develop." For a founder, a growth mindset isn't just some fluffy positive thinking. It's a strategic necessity for survival. Now let's turn south to resilience. And here's the key takeaway. Resilience is not some innate trait you're either born with or you're not. It is a skill. It's a muscle you can build. And it stands on 3 pillars: knowing yourself, being able to adapt when things change, and, crucially, building a support system so you're not trying to carry the weight of the world all on your own. Finally, we look west to your systems. And this is where things get really practical. Probably the biggest mistake founders make is trying to manage their time. You can't. There are only 24 hours in a day. What you can manage, though, is your energy, and that is your most valuable asset for sustainable performance. So this brings us to the final, really practical part of the whole framework: installing your new operating system. I love this analogy. Think of it as upgrading your internal software from a buggy, reactive mode to one that's actually designed for the long haul. And here are some of the fantastic tools for that new OS. You've got things like time blocking to stop you from constantly firefighting, the Pomodoro technique for that deep, focused work, and the Eisenhower matrix for figuring out what's urgent versus what's actually important. These aren't just little life hacks. They are systems designed to protect your focus. So here's the crucial point. High performance isn't about brute force. It's about intelligent energy management. This means you have to start treating things like sleep, good food, and firm boundaries not as luxuries, but as non-negotiable parts of your job. I read about one founder who completely flipped his schedule on its head. He put his health non-negotiables, his gym time, his meals, in the calendar first, and then he fit his work in around them. And you know what? He said that's what kept his company alive. Right, we have covered a lot of ground, but all this knowledge is completely useless without action. So let's bring this all together and focus on the single most important part of this entire journey, taking your very first step. The old proverb is a cliche because it's true. All this change, it starts with one conscious decision. So the question I have for you right now is this: what is your one action going to be? And to make it a bit easier, here are 4 simple, concrete options straight from the guide. Now, don't try to do them all. That's not the point. Just pick one. Will you spend 10 minutes on the 5 whys? Will you just open your calendar right now and block out some recovery time? Will you catch just one negative thought and reframe it? Or will you take 5 minutes to triage your to-do list? Just choose one thing you can do today. Because that single act, that small promise to yourself, that's everything. That's the first turn of the compass needle. It's the proof you need that you can, in fact, change your heading. And please remember, what we've covered here is really a high-level overview of the self-guide module from Toya Ocean BE. If this has resonated with you and you're ready to really dive deeper and get detailed exercises and strategies for each of these lessons, you can sign up for the main course. Let's just end on this thought. The aim here isn't to create a life that's magically free of stress. That's impossible, right? The real goal is to build a toolkit that allows you to meet those challenges with purpose, with a sense of control, and with grace, to become the leader that your mission truly deserves.